Seriously, I don't think it's a good idea to analyze data in Excel anymore. Let's say I want to look for the transactions, how much I have on hand. So I go here, insert a chart, maybe a column chart, and look what Excel is going to give me, a traditional chart that cannot properly show me anything. So instead, I can use ChatGPT or Google Gemini, doesn't actually matter. You can use any AI tool to create a fully dynamic and interactive dashboard to analyze your data set. Doesn't matter what type of data set you have. We can create this template completely for free. You don't need to pay ChatGPT. You don't need to use a paid version of Gemini. You can straight go for the free version because it's going to work. Now I can analyze everything, inflows, outflows, and also the quantity I have on hand per product and also per month. So that's it, guys. This is what we are going to see in today's video. In order to use any AI tool to help us on our daily basis in Excel, we first need to have something in Excel. And in my case, I have a lot of different information, many rows, different columns, and it's all about inventory transaction. But if you work with a different thing, a different area, let's say HR, logistics, sales, purchasing, etc., etc., it doesn't matter, right? You need to have a data set. From the data set, we can work with AI. And I have here date, transaction type, that can be either inflow or outflow, product name, quantity, and total amount in dollars. And my goal here is to analyze this data set because let's say I want to know how much I have on hand for the monitor product. Could I do it manually? Yeah, for sure. I could use pivot tables, charts, formulas to help me to summarize the data set in order to see the quantity by product or the quantity by date, by months, by years. But it's kind of tricky to do it in Excel, and it's kind of take a lot of time to do it every day, every single week, and etc. So a good approach is copy and paste this data set into ChatGPT or into Google Gemini. The problem is if I take this whole file, because I have different sheets, sheet 1, inventory transaction, and I may also have different other sheets, I'm going to show you a very good strategy that you can use, a very good approach. First of all, convert this range into a table. Because in my experience, guys, okay, this can change in the future maybe, but at least in my experience until this moment, I think ChatGPT works better with tables. So click, hold, and drag, select everything, just to Excel understand the range that we want to convert into a table, and go straight to insert table. And with this new dialog box that is going to pops out, you can select my table has headers because it's in the have the date, transaction, product, quantity, total amount that are headers. Then click OK. Now we have a table in Excel. Of course, you can also rename the table, but I'm gonna leave it as it is, right? I think it's not that important to change the name. Okay, now I'm going to save this Excel file and I need to memorize the name of the sheet. And in my case, it's inventory transactions. But why is that? Because now I'm going to open up ChatGPT or Google Gemini or any other AI tool that you want to use. Doesn't matter, right? You can use any AI tool that you like the most. And the thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Excel file that I just saved, that is the inventory transactions. I'm going to click, hold, and drag into ChatGPT like this, because ChatGPT is going to upload it or grab all the data from our data set. Now, the most important thing, guys, is to write the prompt, the command line. This is something that most people get wrong, and you might not get the result that you are looking for. And in our case here, in my case specifically, I want to analyze the data set in order to check for the quantity I have on hand for each product, monitor, laptop, and etc. And on top of that, I also want to ask ChatGPT to help with different analysis, maybe with to highlight the largest column in the chart with a greenish color, the lowest one with red, and also add some filters to help me visualize only the information I want, only by product, for example. So I'm going to write here the prompt. Okay, my prompt is ready. and I written something like, I'm going to explain you guys line by line why I use each word and also why I use HTML file, why it's important to use HTML file, why I cannot do a image, why not a Excel file itself, why not a TXT file, a PDF, and etc. Why I think it's important to use HTML, why I think this type of file is the best one, okay? But before I explain anything, let me just send this prompt because ChatGPT can start this labor, right? Okay, unable to display the visualization. I don't know why is that, but it doesn't matter, right? The important thing is we attach the file, right? So right here we can see the prompt that I use, and you can use something similar. Make sure you just adapt the prompt into your own service or your own thing that you want to do, right? So right here, I just written something like using the attached Excel file, and I also specified here the tab. This is very important, guys. Even more if you have multiple tabs like myself, you need to specify which is the tab you want to use. The inventory transactions, this is the name of my tab. I need you to create a dynamic and interactive chart, not just a image of a chart, not just a regular chart that is not going to move at all. No, I want a dynamic chart with maybe animations where I can click on the chart, see something, hover with the cursor, and maybe pops up a label, etc. So dynamic and interactive chart in a single HTML file. This is the most important thing. Single HTML file. Why single? Because I don't want to have multiple files. I only want a simple solution, a single file. And why HTML? Because in my experience, HTML is the file that is maybe the easiest one to use. Even more for people who don't have that much experience with programming. I think HTML is the best because HTML looks like a PDF. You can just double click on the HTML file and you can see everything. You can see the analysis, you can see the charts, the animations, and etc. Everything. And you can also take this HTML file that looks like a PDF. It's very small. It's not going to occupy too much space into your SSD, for example, and you can send into email for someone. You can send to it's very easy to handle this file, right? So create a single HTML file so that I can analyze inflows and outflows. Right here, I'm specifying what I want to analyze, what I want to do with this HTML file. I want to check for inflows and outflows month by month with the option to filter by product. So I basically said everything I want to do. And on top of that, I can also continue to create more stuff. Do a highlight, red, green, etc., etc. I'm gonna just pause the video, guys, because it's take too much time to process the HTML file. And just before I pause the video, I think something is very important. Am I using the paid version or am I using the free version? I'm using the paid version, okay? I'm using actually the paid version. If I go here to the options to select the mode, right now I'm using the highest mode, that is ChatGPT 5.5. But if you also have the free version, let's say on Gemini, on ChatGPT itself, it doesn't matter because it's going to work, guys. Trust me, I already did the same prompt, the same analysis using multiple different AI tools, Gemini, ChatGPT, and all other tools. And it's worked just fine, okay? But because I use every day a lot, I use the paid version just because I have more access to more prompts. I can talk the whole day here with ChatGPT. So this is why it's not any. There's no correlation to the quality of the HTML file or with the quality of the analysis, but just by the volume. I use a lot, so this is why. Okay. Let me download the HTML dashboard. And as I said to you guys, a HTML file actually looks like a PDF file. And it's also very small, as you guys can see right here. The size-wise, only 4 megabytes, right? So very small. Let me double click on this HTML, 1, 2. because it's going to open up here in my Google Chrome into the internet, right? It's going to open up the dashboard, the analysis that I asked for ChatGPT to do. And the interesting thing is, I already have here the interactive chart where I can hover over with the cursor and see this label telling me the information, the total inflow, outflows, and also the balance, how much I have on hand. But right now I'm looking for all products. I don't want to check for all products, but I want to filter by only one specific product. So keyboard, let's say. The dashboard, it's going to automatically update, showing me only the information that I'm looking for. So this is perfect. Now I can analyze everything. I also can change here the metrics. Instead of quantity, I can look for total amount. Instead of using a chart style that is group bars plus a line, I can only check for net movement only, and etc. So it's very complete already, and I can also improve furthermore this chart. So let's go back to ChatGPT. I'm going to tell ChatGPT that I want the highest value in each chart to be shown in green and the lowest value to be shown in red. And the remaining values can be displayed in a bluish tone. I think the bluish one is already being used, right? But let me send this prompt and let ChatGPT just update the HTML, and then we can open it again and see what it's going to look like. Okay guys, ChatGPT is done. Let me download this new HTML version, and I'm going to save it as V2, that stands for version 2, right? Okay, now I can simply go to the version 2, double click it to open up here on the screen. So right now I can check if ChatGPT did what I asked for, and yeah, it's working. Now I can see the lowest value in red and the largest ones in green. Let me change the product, let's say tablet. Okay, now I can see, look for only those values. Something is kind of off here because I have 2 green values. I don't know if it's correct, right? I only ask for the largest one and the lowest one, not for the first and the second. But anyway, I think it's good enough, right? Maybe we can adjust next time the prompt. And something maybe we can do here with this template. Let's say now you have a new data set. You wake up next morning, you have to work again, new data set, new labor to do, right? Imagine you do it all over again, the same prompt again and again. To save some time, what we can do is we can ask to ChatGPT the same idea. Instead of have a button to download this dataset, we can have the opposite, a button to upload new dataset. So every time you have a new dataset in Excel, you can simply go to the HTML, upload this new dataset, and that's it. You don't need to do the prompt all over again to generate the HTML file or over and over again, right? So I think it's a very interesting idea to add a upload button into the HTML file. So this is something that we can do, right? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to use Excel with AI to create analysis, charts, and help us to save time on our daily basis. I see you in the next one.